Let's learn more about ARNO's SA groove and part-off system. And to start with here, we're going to show you the type of machine adapters. And we have what we class as an industry standard adapter versus the machine specific adapter. But before I get into the configurations and difference between these types of holders, let's talk about the blade itself. We have a modular blade system that mounts onto these units. And the modular blade system is classic ARNO, built for strength and quality. We have a curvature of the blade itself here to give maximum strength to the blade. We have a location surface, which is large surface area here. We have a tenon location for the mounted into the unit itself, and I'll show you that in a minute. And we have a surface area here, which is large for good security of the blade to start with. Now, the other nice features about this blade is the clamp on top of the insert. It's not one of those inserts that you just push into place. So it's a good, secure clamping system. It's a double-ended insert. The insert itself, long ratio of the insert to the height configuration, so good and secure V location on the top and the V location on the bottom surfaces. And the other very nice feature about these units themselves is they have through coolant capabilities. And we look at through coolant from ARNO, what we're looking at here is what we class as the ACS1 system and the ACS2 system. Very simply, ACS1 just means we have one coolant flow which is above the top of the insert. It flows directly underneath the clamp itself and on top of the insert. So the coolant flow is directly at the cutting tip. It gets between the cutting tip and the chip that's being formed, which is vital. Then we have one more dimension to this. We have ACS2, which passes the coolant from the bottom directly underneath the insert itself. So there we get the maximum coolant flow we can to that cutting edge. Now, when we start to mount this into the adapter itself, as I said, there's a tenon location. You can see the tenon location here and this flat surface. So simply, we bolt the two units together and we pass two screws in. That pulls it back and locates the blade into place. Strong location surfaces, a lot of surface area for rigidity of the unit itself. Now that coolant feed we talked about. Now with this unit here is what we call an industry standard unit or a connection. When we talk about the industry standard part of this, we're actually talking about the connection into the machine. Now in this case here it's a PSC adapter or CAPTO adapter. Now we make these in different configurations. This can be, as we said here, CAPTO PSC, or it could be a VDI connection, or it could be a HSA connection. Now when we bolt this directly into the machine, another nice feature about these units, we do not have to worry about the plumbing situation. We don't have to have pipes, external pipes. We don't have external connectors. Once we bolt this into the turret itself, the coolant is going to flow directly through the unit to the cutting edge. And that's where we want the coolant to be, at the cutting edge. Now, the other nice part of this system is you can see the way this unit is cut out. So if we're using the typical application for cut-off or part-off, we look at the main spindle and a second spindle coming forward to grab the part before we actually make that cut. Here we have nice clearances. We've got clearance between the actual tool and the main spindle and the second spindle. And the coolant, instead of splashing around those chucks or collets, is going directly to the cutting edge. And that's what's going to give you your performance. So this will give you longevity of the cutting edge. This will give you great surface finishes. And this will give you great flatness as well. So, and that's what I say. We class that as the industry standard mount, PSC in this particular case here. Now we take that same idea, that same concept, and we mount it to individual machine specifications. So here we have what we class as a flange mount system. Now this can be for a HAAS machine, it could be for a Mazak machine, it could be for an Nakamura machine. We make holders that fit index machines, that fit trowel machines, so we should get fairly specialized. Now the nice part about this unit is 4 bolts, so it's a flange mount system. It has the location tenons on the back and the slot to pick up the turret itself. We bolt this directly onto the machine. And again, the coolant is going to come directly through this holder. There is no external plumbing needed for this tool. In this configuration, you can see it here in a left-hand configuration. So we can see that we have the blades facing up. We can mount the blades onto the other surface here as well if we want a blade up on this side rather than being on the far left-hand side of the unit here. So, but the other nice part of this, we have an additional coolant nozzle on the very top here. This additional coolant nozzle on the top can be used for external flow if you're having troubles with chips moving to a certain area. Or we can take it out and block it off and we get the maximum pressure going through the blade itself. So we say here, we're seeing it in the right-hand configuration. If I rotate this through, you can see it in the left-hand configuration. A lot of machines will allow us to do this. There is obviously some machine specifications that can affect that. But if you want to find out more about these units, please check us out on the ARNO website. To see if we have an industry standard adapter for you, go to the SA Solution page on our website. Click through the industry standard adapters, then choose your connection. We have a PSC, CAPTO, HSK, and VDI options available. Next, choose whether you want to use an ARNO USA blade or an industry standard blade. Finally, Choose the parting diameter you need and you will be presented with a layout of the holder that fits your criteria. And you will find all the dimensions and blade compatibility information in that table. Pay special attention to the AKL dimensions because sometimes you will need a longer blade to provide clearance for your subspindle. If you don't have an industry standard connection, click through the machine specific adapters. Here you will select your machine, then your connection type and bolt pattern. Some machines have several options, so it may take a few clicks to see the configuration that suits your needs. Next, click the desired parting diameter. Pay attention to the AKL and DF max dimensions in case you have to select a longer blade to clear your interferences. Keep in mind, if your particular machine brand is not listed, it may still use a standard bolt pattern. We can help you with the proper selection, so please reach out to us and we will pair you with one of the application specialists. Let's move on to the more chuck and turret setup where we look at the square shank or the monoblock setup. So let me just move these out of the way so we can bring the other tools in place. Okay, so what we're looking at here is a standard square shank tool hose which fits the multitude of machines. Let's start what we class as a Swiss style holder. Now the Swiss style holder, we use the same basic concepts remain. We have that angle or radius to the blade itself to give the maximum support to the blade. We have the same configuration with the insert. The height to relationship to the length of the insert remains the same for maximum rigidity. And we also, obviously, this style of holder, we still add coolant feed to these holders. So we have ACS1 on this particular holder, which means the coolant feed is directly to the top of the insert via underneath the clamp itself. And we have ACS2, which is the coolant feed from underneath. So again, maximizing that coolant pressure for efficiency of cut, performance, tool life, and obviously productivity. Well, let me point out something kind of nice little feature which I think is great for the Swiss style tools, is we have the screw for the actual clamping of the insert is at an angle on the head. If we look at that, we can see there that the screwdriver, the driver itself comes out at a slight angle. That angle is to allow us a better access into the machine to change the insert. If you ever worked on a Swiss machine, you'll totally understand it's a very difficult environment to get inserts in and out of the pocket. So again, a nice little feature that ARNO is very good at thinking about some of these specifics that help. So the range just keeps on moving up in size. So now we're looking at a standard kind of machine. We're looking at a 3/4 or an inch square shank tool holder. Same things. Relationship of the insert is exactly the same. Height to length ratio remains the same. Good rigidity. Clamp this time goes directly on top. So we have a clamp that's directly on top because we don't have that problem with location or interference on the machine. Same configuration with the radius, and obviously we feed the coolant through the tool holder itself. So we offer a block and blade system within the SA system. Very simple. The standard blade system we have is single end or double-ended insert, 32mm in height or 26mm height, industry standard. Fits into the standard block, just slide it in place. So you can either use our block or use somebody else's block, does not matter. But a nice feature about this blade system is that we do have a scale on the side of the blade. The scale on the side of the blade, very simply, if I want to move it to 60mm, that means it's going to be, the blade's going to stick out 60mm from here to the front face of the insert. That's nice when you're changing blades out. It's nice for the operator to get that interchangeability and see exactly where the blade is. So let's take this to a slightly different level with what we can offer. What we offer is obviously the standard blade system we talked about here. We also offer what we class as the reinforced blade system. With the reinforced blade system, we have the same kind of dimensions in terms of we have the 32mm height versus a 32mm, but look at the cross section of these two tools. So now we can see the benefit of the reinforced system. We have a lot stronger application area here. And this tool will fit into the standard blocks that we find in machines now. It just slides in exactly as the standard blade did. The nice thing about the reinforced system is we have a few more benefits to offer over, which I class as a little bit of the flimsy blade. Now with this system here, we have a clamp on top. So no longer do we have that awkward wedging of the insert in place. And we also have a double-ended insert as well in our tool holders. Now the nice thing as well on top of that is we have back to through coolant. We can't do through coolant with this system here. It's generally very difficult to get the holes through here and maintain strength to get coolant directly to the insert. But with the reinforced blade system we can do it. We maintain the same curvature as we did with the monoblock style tools. What we also offer now is ACS1. We're feeding coolant directly to the top of the insert. And this particular blade here has ACS2. So we're getting that coolant feed as we did with the monoblock tools directly to the cutting edge. And we just simply feed it through the blade itself.